Hey everyone, what's going on? Joey Contino from the Wildwood Video Archive, and this video is going to be a lot of fun because right behind me is the Shamrock, well, we're calling it the Shamrock because what used to be underneath of it was the Shamrock Bar. But this was an old Victorian home that is actually getting moved. That's right, it's actually the night before, and currently Atlantic City Electric's actually moving all the lines. That's if you can hear all the sounds around me. And so right now I'm going to take you guys from this moment until they actually start moving it and moving it to the house, the new land down the street. Anyway, before we get started, make sure you subscribe, you turn on notifications, and you give this video a thumbs up. Let's get started. Now later on in this video, when they're actually moving the house, we'll go through the history of it. Right now I want to take advantage of us actually being able to be close to the house, because tomorrow they're going to close down Pacific Avenue and some of the other side streets so that they can roll this thing into the street, attach it to a truck, and then pull it to its new home, which is just a few blocks away. Now tomorrow we won't be able to get this close, and so right now I kind of want to share with you guys the process of them actually moving this house. You got to remember something. There used to be a bar underneath of it called the Shamrock. Now that's been around since 1937, started by the Ward family. And for the past 6 months, we've been giving you guys updates about this building because it used to be, we would say, probably about 12 feet higher up. Well, in order to prepare for this, there's a lot of things that had to take place. First and foremost, the people that bought the land is BG Capital. For those who don't know BG Capital, they've got a lot of projects taking place here in the Wildwoods. You know, they bought the Trinity land, they're building units there. I think it's 38 dwellings. They're building the residence on Pacific for students. They have the VFW, and then they bought this land here. We don't know what they're doing with it yet. More than likely a parking lot to go ahead and give parking for those new residences. But luckily for us, they allowed the owner of the house to go ahead and keep the house and move it. And that's important because it is extremely historic from the early 1900s. And so for the past few months, they've been ripping out everything underneath of it, which was an entire bar, and they lowered it down. They disconnected the house. They actually patched up a lot of different sections, and now it's sitting roughly about 4.5 feet off of the ground on wheels, ready to move. And so now we're gonna take the camera off the tripod and give you guys a little tour. So we're gonna start for you guys at the front of the house. So this is the part that's on Pacific Avenue, and you can kind of see what they've been doing. They built this section underneath of it as sort of a support and then put wheels underneath of it. You can kind of see the wheels here. It's kind of hard to see at night. You can see the original floor from when it was the Shamrock, which is actually kind of funny. So what you were dancing on is what's going to be the ground floor for them moving this house. And they've got some tractors on the side ready to go. And once AC Electric, which is literally here and down that way, once they are ready to go ahead and move this thing, they're going to shift it all the way over onto this road. From this angle, you can really see how big the house is. And keep in mind that they lowered it down already. So it's got to clear all of these lines here. For the most part, they're going to be able to push them up, and that's why crews are kind of standing by. They're going to be working throughout the entire night to go ahead and get this thing ready. They're kind of running behind schedule because if you remember, this was supposed to take place last Monday, not this past Monday, the Monday before that, and because of different storms and things, they got held back. So they're working overnight tonight to get this ready to move. So get ready for the move in 3, 2, 1. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to finally move that house. That's right, currently it is about 7:20 in the morning, about 36 degrees and a little bit windy, and construction crews, we actually beat them here this morning, which is kind of fun. I didn't expect doing that. But while we're waiting to get this house moved, let's go ahead and go through the history of this building. Now, a quick little thank you to Taylor Henry from the Wildwood Historical Society who gave us this information. But the hotel that is standing behind us was built in the early 1900s. There is no official date on when it was built, but everyone's saying it's the early 1900s. And it was built as, and get ready for this, the Berwind Hotel. How cool of a name is that, right? Though today we're gonna call it, once again, the Shamrock Hotel, or Shamrock Historical Hotel, or Shamrock Victorian Hotel. Whatever you want to call it, we're kind of calling it that just because that's what it was mostly known for. And let's be honest, it's orange and green. Now, the hotel was built by a bunch of investors that came down at a time where Pacific Avenue was the hub of the Wildwoods. I mean, this was the happening place to be a part of. Holly Beach truly was the main spot down here. And though people will say that Cape May was the first Victorian destination, we were the funner sister right next door. And long story short, in 1937, the Ward family did wind up buying this property and lived upstairs and started the Shamrock Bar and Ale underneath of it. Now, the Shamrock ran for 84 years until last year where it closed down, where now we're dealing with BG Capital, who's allowing us to go ahead and keep this building for history. Now, I want to give you guys a little tour of the area because some of you guys are probably saying, Joey, the cables are still up. What is going on here? Well, they dropped some of the cables down the street. They moved one of the poles, and it looks like over here they might either drop these cables because they put slack on the other end. So let me go ahead and give you a tour. And as you guys can see, the house is ready to go. Here are the wheels I mentioned last night. And you can see all the way down there on this pole, you can see all the cables kind of wrapped up. That's so they can drop down these poles, so these cables. Here you can see the cables that they drop down. They drop them from here, and they're running underneath all the way down with coverings. You actually see this is one of the boxes they drop down. We're assuming they're going to do the same thing down the other end. And you can see the other end here going back up. For those asking, where is it actually going? It's literally only moving from right there to right here. I know before we said it was another spot that way, but it's right here. They have electric pole going right here. No box yet, or the cables aren't even running to it yet. But it is super exciting to go ahead and see this house here. It's nice to see history preserved. Crews have started to move the planks underneath, and they're gonna start jacking it up very shortly. You can see they added some chain and a couple other things. That way when they pull it, it'll go straight. It's so exciting. I've never seen this in person, so it's such a big occasion. They are now moving the tape, which means they're going to remove those pieces of metal sticking up and start pushing off very shortly. So here's AC Electric coming over to go ahead and start pushing up the lines. You can see right now, they laid all of the blocks down. It looks like they're going to just shift it this way. And then in the same position, change the wheels and just slide it down, going that way. The police are putting out the caution tape, and the lines are being dropped. You can see this one was dropped here, and Atlantic City Electric is now finally here. They're gonna do something about these cables. So we've been here for about an hour and a half now, so it's about 9:30. So this cable has now been dropped. This way, you can see the cable's now hanging low. So we moved them over there because they're going to have to bring these down. So you can see Atlantic City Electric standing around, getting ready to figure out what they're going to do. And this is the main box they're going to drop from. You can see some of the cables already moved over to the left, so they don't have to worry on them. Now we still roughly have about an hour to go. They just started dropping some of the higher up cables. So I figured I would go ahead and give you guys a view from the other side of the building. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see the Shamrock over here. So let me give you a tour of this side of the building. You can see all the blocks have been placed out. They're going to slide this onto the street and then move it down that way. Kind of can see the spot between that building and that sign. And we're still waiting on Atlantic City Electric to move these wires right here. And now it's about 11:20, and just want to give you guys a little update. At this moment, Atlantic City Electric is finally removing those cables, and the construction company put these little backhoes right at the edge of where the actual, like, on the bottom where the wheels are, and it looks like they put hooks on them, so they're going to pull out very soon. I'm assuming the second that they cut this cable, they're going to start moving it right away, and I'll tell you, as soon as they start moving, it's going to move fast. The lines are finally down. The crews are getting ready. Just waiting for this final one back here, and that one is about minutes away from coming down. And before you know it, this thing's going to be on the road. You can hear their trucks are starting up right now. They're getting in. They're moving it inch by inch. They just finally moved it a little bit. And they're checking the blocks and moving the blocks every time they move it back. You see them flipping over the blocks now. But it's starting to finally go. That's all. See it sliding forward inch by inch. And you can see, as I said earlier, they move it like 6 inches and then they go under and they move the blocks. That way it doesn't roll away. Because there's no brakes on that thing. Now we have the time lapse going, but if you remember, you couldn't see most of the water tower. So you can see right now it's getting covered and they're moving it really quickly. Now we went ahead and backed up because there is a high tension cable up there that they need to cut. And to be safe, we backed up just a little bit. But the house is still moving back. It's about 6 inches every single time. Now we do have another camera recording over on that stop sign to give us more of a time-lapse kind of video. So stay tuned for that. And right now we're just gonna hang back here. Moved to a different spot because they had to cut the line on the other end, which would have put us back on Skellinger. So now we are on the other side, and you can see they just started pushing back again. Now it's been some time since our last update because it took them about 45 minutes to move that one line on the left-hand side over here. So they're continuing with moving the blocks every time they pull. So if you want to watch, they're going to move it in a second. So get ready. They're going to give them thumbs up. And the house is going to slowly move. See, it's moving right now. Slowly moving. Okay, now they're going to go ahead and shift back those blocks once again. What's really cool is that they're moving at this very second. See that? How crazy. It's on the sidewalk right now. And actually, you can see that. Now, what's cool is that once they get in the middle of the street, they're going to turn these wheels, and there's a truck on the other side that's just going to pull it down. And then from there, they'll push it back onto its foundation, which they haven't really built yet. It's mostly just going to sit on these blocks again. So, really cool technology. They've been doing this stuff since the 1800s, so everyone knows what they're doing. So it's about 1:30 now, and you can see that the house is almost in the street. And it's coming down the last curve. You can see that curve over there. So it's about 2:21 p.m. You see the shadows are getting long right now. They're stopping so they can put wood underneath of it. They're going to jack it up and then turn the tires. Once the tires are turned, they're going to take this truck, they're going to back it up, and you can see there's a little ball right there. They're going to attach it and then pull it all the way down behind this building. Now, we're assuming it's going to be several more hours until it finally gets to its new spot. Hopefully they'll do it before the sun sets for you guys, because I want to get the drone in the sky. And I'm going to put the drone up for you guys once they start pulling it, because I think that might make for a really, really cool shot. So once they pull it, it's going to be really quick to move it all the way down. It is 3 p.m. and the house is in the middle of the street. They have to go ahead and turn these tires still and then attach the truck. And just to give you an idea where we're going, it's just right there. So it's lunchtime, so hopefully soon, because the sun sets at 5 p.m. So now he's gonna flip the switch over here. He's gonna send power through here to the jacks, or they're then going to be able to lift it up and turn the wheels. So there we go. You can hear a little bit going on, and you can actually see it lifting very slowly. Very slowly it's going up. So finally the wheels are turning. The back ones are turned. We'll hit the second ones here. and the ones in the front. All right, so looking right now, all the wheels except for this one have been turned. And as I'm being told, the second that it's ready to go, it's really gonna book it real quick. They're starting to back up the truck to align it, get ready to pull it. So we're gonna head down the street to go ahead and get the drone video for you guys. We have the time lapse going here, so that's gonna be really cool. So let's get the drone in the sky. Well, folks, it is roughly about 5:30 p.m. That's right, we've been here for 10.5 hours, and the house still has not moved from its original position from where we showed you the drone footage. There's been a couple of issues that they're dealing with. First, there was a hump they had to get over, and when they first hit it, one of the chains underneath broke. So they had to go underneath of it, re-rig it, and move it over. Well, it turns out some of the wheels weren't the right size, so that caused other issues. So now that they got over that one hump, those wheels aren't really hitting where they need to hit. So they had to lower the wheels down and put new bricks under there and redo it so that way they can distribute the weight on it before they continue it down. Well, it did move a lot. Right now it's kind of sitting mostly in the middle of Pacific Avenue. It looks like it's going to be another 3 hours until they can finally rig it correctly, pull it forward, then back it up into its foundation, which is in that lot right over there. It looks like someone's getting back in the truck. They're closing the door. Oh, maybe not. Look, the truck just turned back on, guys. Look at that. And to give you guys an idea, the house is in front of us here. Let me point to it here. It still has to go all the way here and then be backed in. And this is where the building is going to sit for the night. It is over Pacific Avenue. It's like past it. It's about past it by like a good 10 feet. So for right now, this is where it's going to stay for the night, and they're going to pick up tomorrow. But I want to thank you guys for joining me. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. And I want to give a special thank you out to my Patreons on patreon.com. It's because of your support that I'm able to be outside like this for 10.5 hours. So thank you for your support, and if you also want to support this channel and have your name at the end of the video with a bunch of other cool perks, all you have to do is click the links in the description below. Anyway, I'm Joey, live from, well, pretty much Pacific Avenue. I'll see you guys on the beach, which is actually right behind us. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye.